that point is driven home. But
to the CEO, I've received a message through the clerk of the board that the letter was sent and that we had received copies of that. So
I think there's just a little fine wordsmithing here between the letter that was sent. I think Supervisor Delbar is looking for a more firm commitment from our legislators.
okay, well, if I remember right, it was a unanimous discussion of this board that we take that very firm position. So maybe a second letter needs to be sent, maybe more clearly stating that, that we are requesting that our legislators vote against any such action of raiding those funds. So
Why don't we send them a letter saying that robbery is against the law?
I'm just looking for direction of the board. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you. Well, I think it's important to understand this whole discussion in context. I mean, there was another vote over the weekend, and Republicans refused to go along with tax increases, which could have settled this matter. So I think we're getting into the dialogue back and forth that, you know, there's a lot more to the picture than just holding firm on this. We've clearly communicated that we don't want these costs passed on to local government. I think we're unanimous on that. But if you know, you got to balance the budget some way, and I think in a certain sense, with the supermajority required to pass the budget in the state of California, unlike the majority of states, you hold the majority hostage to this kind of situation. So if you don't pass tax increases, this is what you come up with.
I believe Supervisor Delbar raised his pen before Supervisor Kovacs.
Well, this isn't a partisan issue. This is simply what is the best for Mendocino County and local governments, and has been the policy of our state organization, both RCRC and CSAC, as well as I believe this board, that to protect 1A and 42. And we agreed as a board, and we gave direction to staff to ask for that commitment. The letter did go, and it was, for lack of a better term, a nice fluffy letter that thanked them for their support, and our legislators have said that they do not support raiding those funds, and I appreciate that. But the direction was they asked for the commitment that they wouldn't support a budget to that degree, and I want to thank Supervisors Colfax and Smith for those personal conversations with our legislators too. I think those are very, very important. But the direction was seek that commitment, and that hasn't occurred.
Supervisor Colfax.
Well, I think here that this is something we need to get a letter off to. The two representatives happen to be of a particular party, but at the same time here that this is not a solution, whether we're done by Democrats, Republicans, or Greens. It is just a stupid way to proceed, and we are the ones that are going to have to eat it, not the state legislators, black, yellow, white, or Democrat, Republican.
And what are they going to do next year?
I don't know.
They raid all the funds this year. What the hell are they going to do next year?
So, what is the direction of the board? Are we looking for a second letter, or are we just allowing the first letter to stand
I
on
would
it?
recommend a second letter.
And I
Strong
think
second letter.
the CEO said Mr. Kaler was drafting one, didn't you? Yeah.
Okay, a strongly worded letter, I
Yes.
do believe was the quote.
Yeah.
Okay, show acceptance of the DOT report.
Well, Mr. Chairman, with just a note to that, I don't know, but it really struck me in the face on this DOT report. There's a lot going on in our Department of Transportation. I mean, it really pleases me. You know, of course, I always want to push for more, but I'm pleased with some of the projects I see going out there, and I want, if DOT is listening, I appreciate the work and the effort that they're doing on all, whether it's small projects or large projects, the chip sealing program, but they seem to be a very busy department, and I want to acknowledge that.
Thank you. To the CEO, do you have a legislative and/or CEO report? Or do you want to take it up later, or?
I'd like to defer that till this afternoon when Paul gets.
Okay.
He does just have two minor comments for you, but if we could take that up the same time we do the letter, that would be appropriate.
Okay.
And the budget item was the only thing on the CEO's report, so you can take that off your list.
Okay. And to the county council, any report? No. Good. Okay, let's recess for lunch. We'll reconvene at 2 p.m. for our first of two interviews.